Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German football from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Oh! We got Hans Wolf in the chat saying hello. I said Grüß Gott, the bayerische greeting. I don't know if I spelled it correctly.
Well, it's two words.
And it's probably an umlaut, right?
Got an umlaut over the U, but
I don't know how to do an umlaut on my keyboard here. I don't do it on my phone, but on my keyboard, I don't really know.
You're a Windows person. I can't help you.
True, because on my iPhone, it's easy. How about that? Does that work?
Yeah, that'll work.
Gott.
Grüß Gott.
Capitalize. Grüß Gott, Björn, wie geht's?
Grüß Gott. Danke gut. Und dir?
Ja, alles gut. Ich bin richtig beschäftigt, aber alles gut.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, busy boy. I started classes last week. I'm back to college, and I'm learning German.
Finally.
I'm a heritage speaker, so I'm in two classes. I'm in an advanced conversational class where we watch movies. I have to watch a German movie after this to talk about it in class tomorrow. And then I'm in a very basic grammar class. Now, as a heritage speaker, which class for me is easy? Which class for me is very difficult?
Oh, the grammar class is hard for you.
Yes. German 2 is very hard.
Uh-huh.
And the advanced conversational class is like kein Problem.
There's no kein Problem. Yeah.
Isn't that gross?
Grüß Gott.
I mean, it's big God, right? Or am I wrong?
Grüß.
Or is that just a slang?
Although he's got that special German S going. That is the S set. Yeah, that's correct.
How did you do that with do you have a magic keyboard, Hans? Or you Mac boy? I need to get a program maybe and try to, because I have to start typing German paragraphs and stuff. So I have to get my German
do it on
keyboard.
your phone. The phones are easier.
Right. You just hold the thing and then it gives you options.
Macs are easy too. I don't know. PCs are probably easy too. There's character map. Don't you have character map and you can cut and paste?
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I'd love to be able to do it. I'm sure there's a very easy way to do it.
I'm sure there's a way to do that too. The internet will tell you. Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm in German class. I'm watching a German movie tonight called Soul Kitchen. Came out in 2009 about a dude who owns a restaurant in Berlin.
Very good German name.
German name. It's a Turkish-German restaurant, Greek situation.
Oh, cool.
So a lot of New World stuff. Watched the first short film I watched was called Schwarze Fahrt or something. It was a 1993 German Oscar-winning short film. About racism on the train, but it has a double meaning because, as we know, in Germany, riding black.
Schwarzfahren means.
That's how I do it. No ticket.
Yeah, it means riding without a ticket.
I can't figure out the machine, so I just ride without a ticket. And I've never been caught. Although last time I was there, I had tickets every time. I followed the rules like a good boy. But
well, in Germany, you can buy a ticket and then you have to stamp it usually in the bus or the tram.
Right.
So you can, if you want to sort of skirt the rules, you can just buy the ticket and then not stamp it. And then if somebody comes, you can plead ignorance. And if nobody comes, you can reuse it.
2 times ago when I was in Berlin, there was no stamping. You just get on the train, get off.
Oh.
And then if a cop being like, wait, ticket, you have to show it or else you get caught. And all my friends got caught. I don't even know how. There weren't even police on the trains I was on. Maybe I looked.
Well, when I was a young person, they would have. This was a special job that people who were controlling, checking for tickets. This was not cops. This was like
civilians in civilian clothes.
No, people. Yeah, in civilian clothes, they would come in groups of 3 because they would block all the doors so that people wouldn't run out, and then they would check everybody's ticket.
Nice. Yeah,
And then they had in Berlin, I think they had underground insurance for this. This obviously wasn't legal, but you could buy into like Schwarzfahrerversicherung So insurance, and so if you got caught, they would reimburse you for your fine. So you could.
I like it.
So the insurance was cheaper than buying the ticket.
Well, I think getting caught every now and then is cheaper than buying the ticket in general. I think like fine Schwarz makes
like
sense.
$70 or something.
When I was a poor man in New York City, I would ride Schwarz. I rode Schwarz for a year. And
like you would jump the turnstile, or have people open doors for you, or
I do a mix of both. In New York, it's more challenging because in Germany, and I think a lot of places, there's no walls. It's just an honor system.
No, there's no physical barrier, right? You can just go in.
And it's so German in that I think if you are standing on the platform but not taking a train, you have to have like a platform pass. It costs 20 cents or something like that. Something crazy. Where you know how that works in Germany. But anywho, in New York, you have a subway and you swipe your way in, and there's gates. So if you don't have a swiper, you can't go past the gates. And I'm a big dude, but I spent a year hopping over gates and getting swiped in, and I got caught 3 times. So I had to pay $300 in fines. Now let's do the math here. I spent a year and I paid $300 for unlimited subway in fines. Let's pretend I didn't have those fines and I bought a monthly 12 months out of the year. What's the price difference of that?
There's no monthlies in New York. I mean, I guess.
Well, they were like the 30-day pass or whatever.
But how much would you?
It was 100, and when I was there, it was 115 for a monthly per month.
So you feel like
I saved $900.
You came out ahead.
I had by like $900. And the sad thing was I was working in the city, and I always had to like sneak in because I got paid in the city, and I couldn't afford the train pass until I came back from the city. So I had to sometimes I just had to. But anyway, those are my New York days. I also know exactly who to ask to swipe for you, Bjorn. I'm such a talented Schwarz rider in the New York subway system that I can stand there and wait and ask specifically the first correct person to swipe me in. That's how good I am.
Was there like some
total profiling,
some racial stereotyping involved, or was it?
I don't want to call it stereotyping. I'll call it archetyping or profiling. People are more trustworthy. A New York native, someone that was from New York City, born and raised, and usually someone of color, would always help out because they have a pay it forward, help each other out mentality. Okay. The hipsters, the guests, the whitey whites, they wouldn't even answer your question. It's like you didn't even exist. So I always knew exactly who to ask. And it wasn't someone that looked like me. Let's just put it that way.
I see.
So, controversial statement, but, from experience. So, Bjorn, next time you see a guy in need, just help him out. Don't be so snooty about it, would you?
Oh, I'm one of the people you wouldn't have asked.
Probably, honestly, probably.
What category do? The hipster. Oh, I'm a white hipsters. No good. Is that
you and your Jack Wolfskin jacket and your Trader Joe's bags? I'm not asking that guy.
Jack Wolfskin jacket. I don't even know what that is.
It's a European brand that Germans wear.
Ah, okay.
It's like a big European. It's like how in New York, I guess the equivalent would be, what is that jacket company? The Atlantic, the Antarctic. What's it called? The one that costs $700. The one that everyone's wearing. I'm being
stereotyped. I'm being typecast here.
We've talked about this jacket brand before, so I do know what you're talking about. I do know you know what I'm talking about. Antarctic, Atlantic.
What?
Canada Goose.
Canada Goose. Fjällräven, Canada Goose. What? Yeah. What is it? Right.
Do you know Canada Goose jackets?
Yeah, those are not made with ethical down. I don't think. I think there's some controversy there.
Well, if you see a Canada Goose jacket, they're not swiping you on the subway. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. They don't care for geese or for you.
Right. I'm not the right geese. Jack Wolf is my cousin, Hans Wolf. It's Jack Wolf's skin. It's Wolf's skin. And I just see them all over Germany, just the Jack Wolfskin brand. I don't know. I'm an observant dude. Maybe it's just a random observation I have that is unfair. I don't know, dude.
Well, what do you got?
On that note,
Burger King? You got some
this
Burger
used to be
King?
This is seltzer water. There used to be a Burger King cup, but there's ice in it.
You're
So just use it in my
reusing
seltzer.
your Burger King cup.
Yeah, because I'm not one of them Canada Goose types. I'm very economical.
How old is this cup?
From today.
Earlier.
From
Okay.
today. From today. It's from earlier, but it's full of ice.
It's not like
So
3 years. Oh, I went to Burger King 3 years ago. This cup's still good.
No, I had a bad.
The edges, it leaks a little bit. Some of the paper has gotten soft a little, but
Yep, I'm gonna throw it away. I went to Wendy's on the way to class. And I went to Burger King on the way back from class. So I did. This lack of time is not great.
I rewatched Pulp Fiction recently with my family, and obviously there's so
unedited with your family, with your 2 kids.
My son is 17. He's no longer he's no longer I mean, whatever we've tried to protect him from, it's too late now.
So you and him were watching the Gimp scene together. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I
was more thinking about what's his name, the actor, and his who's getting shot by Samuel L. Jackson, and John Travolta was like slurping his. He had a Sprite. His was a Sprite.
Yeah. Phil Lamar or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's what's his?
He was like a TV actor. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I look
Big Kahuna Burger. Can I try?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Bjorn, do you know what they call a Big Mac? No, you know what they call the quarter pounder in Europe?
Yeah, Royale with cheese, because they got the metric system. They don't know from.
Man, you can have a beer at McDonald's, man. John Travolta played a chippy, I think is what it was called. A chippy is someone who's a weekend.
Frank Whaley,
and he's like more of a TV actor, right? I know his face. But a chippy is someone. Isn't a chippy someone who's a weekend drug user? They only use drugs on the weekends, and specifically heroin for John Travolta.
Okay,
and that was called a chippy, I guess, or something.
Is that what we're? Is that? I don't think we've. Is that being explained that he's only using it in the?
No, but in Quentin Tarantino, I'm a big movie nerd, and so are you. In Quentin Tarantino fashion, he has a whole extra movie that no one sees.
Oh, okay.
So
chippy. So he's a chippy. He likes to do it on the
So when John Travolta came out and said he's a chippy, talked to Quentin Tarantino about it. Quentin Tarantino told him to practice being a chippy. It's like floating in water 2 days out of the
right. Okay.
Go to the pool to get ready. Like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that whole boat scene with him and his wife. I mean, he wrote a whole book on just that story.
Okay.
We only saw a clip of it because with Quentin Tarantino.
No, it's good. It holds up. It's a whole. So Hans Wolf would like to talk about the U.S. Open Cup. We never got to. Yeah, we were definite. We talked about it, about how MLS is not part of it.
Well, there's no solution. Last I heard, there's daily discussion.
Yeah, it's still being talked about. Yeah, so it's an ongoing question. What's going to happen? There was some talk that they should just be able to extend their rosters, but that has been dismissed. Yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen.
The interesting thing here for me is the for lack of a better word, the legality of all that. So as I discussed earlier, FIFA regulation states that MLS cannot pull out of the U.S. Open Cup. It's against FIFA regulation. Now, however, how enforceable are FIFA regulations?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the question, right?
Right.
Because FIFA also forces leagues to have promotion relegation. MLS doesn't. Right. And to offer correction, we talked about this earlier. I put it as a photo. Mexico has open-endedly suspended the promotion relegation.
Yeah.
So it's not looking like that's coming back. I thought it was coming back, but it's not.
Soon, yeah.
And and some of them, I'm sure there's other leagues that don't have it. So how enforceable is it? So
right.
And the US Open Cup,
we don't know. And no, go ahead.
The U.S. Open Cup is of the U.S. Soccer Federation. It's their tournament,
right.
And the U.S. Soccer Federation is a direct subsidiary of CONCACAF and FIFA.
Well, and they said can't be done. They said this is not okay. Right. Like this was a unilateral sort of MLS decision, and they said no.
Right. And where MLS is a private entity, they're sanctioned by U.S. Soccer, but they're a private business. And as we can tell, MLS is very motivated by whatever they care about.
They are also not as entwined, I guess, now that Soccer United Marketing is no more, they are no longer as sort of enmeshed, I guess, with US Soccer as they used to be. So there is this conflict, but I mean, they'll have to work it out. So Hans Wolf thinks it's sacrilege. I mean, I agree in theory. I mean, but I also said at the time, like, really, nobody. It's also true that people don't really care in large numbers about the U.S. Open Cup, and so that's also.
Hans, quick, who won the 2012 Open Cup? Quick.
2012. Oh my God.
Fine. Who won the 2022 Open Cup? Quick.
Oh,
I can't answer either.
The year before.
No, 2022.
Oh, was Orlando? Wasn't it Orlando?
I don't know. Was it?
Well, it was Orlando, and it was Houston last year.
Let me look up. I know it's Houston because Houston had a good run, and because of Messi. Like, it was just ironic because right after that announcement, with Messi, U.S. Open Cup just became talk of the town. So
yeah,
and then
after Messi lost, apparently it's not featured in his documentary.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't win.
Yeah,
I have not seen that. Requiem for a Dream. We talked about this before, right? Hans Wolf is saying, speaking of movies, I've never seen Requiem for a Dream. An ex-girlfriend of mine brought it up several weeks ago, so I ordered it on Prime yesterday. Yeah, Darren Aronofsky, right? Jennifer Connelly. I think it's worth watching. I remember liking it. Ellen Burstyn, I think.
Right,
yeah.
She plays the old guy. The most vivid scene is what's his face, Mickey, the guy who played Joker, one of the worst Jokers. I think he's in it. He had a terrible infection in his arm, and a doctor had to remove his arm.
Don't spoil it. He's watching it tomorrow. Don't.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's a soft spoiler. That's a soft spoiler. Sorry. Anyway, it's about not.
I watched Poor Things.
Oh yeah, that's on my list with Emma Stone and black hair.
Yeah, it's worth seeing for sure.
Best movie of the year for me, Bjorn, Godzilla -1 by a country mile.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that. I have not seen it.
By a country mile.
22 was Orlando. Yeah, I was right.
Versus Sacramento. Oh, right, because Sacramento had that run. I went to a Sacramento game.
So Orlando and
Jonathan Klinsmann let one of the softest goal, who's now in Italy, by the way. He signed
I've gone to
the third Italian club. You just fail up.
Who did?
Jonathan Klinsmann. The guy who let the box roll past it.
Well, I am a fan of the Open Cup. I've gone to Queens for the Open Cup. I've driven to DC, Washington DC for a road game Open Cup. I'm down, but like, there's not that many of us. So it's all these people. All I'm saying is all these people that are decrying MLS and blah blah. They should make a point to tune in and watch some of it.
Well, another thing about that, and again rehashing, is MLS does two things. They do a thing that lines with international soccer, and that's always thumbs up. People get it. It works. Then they do stuff where they do not line up with international soccer, and that is always open for a lot of criticism. And the fact that Don Garber's not really a soccer guy, that comes out that way. And this is an example of that. This is where they're like, oh, we're not going to do the cup tournament anymore. That's very much that's I can translate to that, to the whole like, we know that you guys are soccer fans, but we don't care. Like, this country's full of soccer fans. World Cup sold out, and it'll be sold out in a day. Copa America, it's going to get sold out in a day. English Premier League, they pack bars at 9 a.m. Like, soccer is loved in this country. But MLS, not so much. MLS is not in that category. And this is an example as to them offering why. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, soccer comes one way. The leagues on the weekend, cups, and the continental tournaments midweek. That's how soccer is. Just always, everywhere. South America, Mexico, North America, wherever. I mean, Europe, wherever. But here in the U.S., the league's like, nah, we don't want to. We don't get why we're doing that. That's my thing. It's like, just what a great way to alienate the traditional soccer fans.
All right. Big game in Germany this weekend.
Yeah, that's our big topic this week. Just want to catch. You guys have a snowstorm coming tomorrow?
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, don't believe the hype. But I guess they already canceled school ahead of time. This is also an inheritance of the COVID years. It's like, oh, we're gonna go remote tomorrow. It's like because there's going to be inclement weather, supposedly. It's probably going to be nothing, and then the kids are going to stay home for no good reason. Anyway, but yeah, we'll see. There's supposed to be some snow.
Good way to watch some football. We got Champions League this week.
That's right.
Champions League tomorrow. Huntsville flew to Orlando to watch the U.S. Open Cup match, so I asked the wrong guy. He was there. And he watched Orlando, and he goes to Sacramento. I need to do a trip up there. I need to do a trip where I go to a Sacramento game and a San Jose game. I would bet the Sacramento game is probably more fun than the San Jose game. I hear that San Jose is like the worst stadium experience in the league. I mean, take that with a grain of salt, obviously. But I hear that just online. They have this big bar. Everyone just hang out at the bar.
Lobina.
Small stadium. Is that what it's called, the Lobina bar?
Lobina stands for longest outdoor bar in North America.
Okay. I think there's a few of those. There's one in Vegas, so I guess get a measuring stick out. But, and then I hear it's a lot of kids running around, and, and the stadium is on the smaller side. I think it's only a 20,000-seater stadium. I don't know. I'm glad they have a stadium because I remember the days back when San Jose couldn't have a stadium, so they lost their team. I remember those days. So it's nice they got a team back.
That's what the Houston Dynamo are now, right? That used to be San Jose, yeah.
The most underrated dynasty in league history is the San Jose / Houston Dynamo, because it's like there were two cities, so it's kind of split apart. But in reality, the 01, 03, 06, 07 winners were all the same core. And they had themselves a good, like Boston Celtics in the 80s, they had themselves a good little run. In the aughts, it's nice to finally see the Houston Dynamo under Ben Olsen pick up again. But as you were alluding, Bjorn, it's the Germany hour. We had the big game, and we didn't give it its due. We were like, it's going to be a boring.
I know. I mean, this is the kind of I was saying on a group chat. I was like, this is because people who are not necessarily Bundesliga fans, more Premier League fans, friend of mine, are like, oh, big game in Germany today. I was like, and I even said dismissively, as this is the kind of game where usually Bayern is up 3-0 20 minutes in. Like you hype it and you think, this is the one that blah blah blah. But then usually Bayern just crushes the opposition. That's how it's been. Alas, it was not. It did not. That's not how it went.
Der Klassiker has ruined us because that's actually der Klassiker. Like 95% of the games have been total duds. You know what I mean? They've been they've all inflated. This is like, what? This is the new Der Klassiker this year, but it's Bayer Leverkusen. So that's a new variable that's been added, and Bayer Leverkusen showed up so much so. It wasn't a good game in the fact they went back and forth to each other. It was a good game in the fact that Bayern München all year, I've been talking about this all year. There's been something missing with Bayern München. They're not convincing me. And this game called them out. It exposed all of their frailties in 90 minutes. I mean, did you watch the game?
I did watch the game.
Bayern München had nothing to offer. The whole first half was Bayer Leverkusen. The whole second half was Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, Kane was on the field.
I mean, I still thought, they were up 1-0 at halftime, and I still was like, Bayern's going to get one out of nothing, and like I really didn't. I didn't believe, but in the end, it was a pretty comprehensive clinic on Leverkusen's side. It was an odd. It was an odd lineup, even
from Tuchel, yeah.
Tuchel had to switch formation. That's a very un-Bayern-like thing to do. The switching formation to adjust to the opposition. That is not something we're used to.
No, that's
from
not
Bayern.
Their identity. Right?
And it did not. And it did not. And whether it was a good idea or not, even in theory, it did not work at all. The third center back, the three center back lineup, basically they conceded the entire midfield. They were also, I guess they have some injuries. It's Kingsley Coman and Alphonso Davies weren't around, so the wings were also completely dominated. They threw this kid from who just arrived from Galatasaray. He started on the right, and he did not. He had a tough game. I mean, the Leverkusen fullbacks are no chumps. I mean, I also was thinking, just looking at the lineup, we had Thomas Müller was sitting. Kimmich is coming back from injury. Goretzka has been bad. I mean, legit, like player for player. Usually you're like, oh, Bayern, obviously way superior squad, but maybe some issues. In this case, not really. Like person for person, there's a lot of positions where you would definitely take the Leverkusen guy over who Bayern was starting.
Granit Xhaka is the best
in this particular. Granit Xhaka, both of the fullbacks, really the center backs. Probably, I would take any of the Leverkusen center backs over Eric Dyer for sure. Matthias de Ligt doesn't even start anymore. Like it was an odd, even just on paper, I was like, I'm not sure what's happening. And then, the midfield.
What I will say is the Bayer Leverkusen players, like Nathan Tella, who is he, right? Sasha Bowe, who is he? These are two new arrivals, obscure arrivals. But the Bayer Leverkusen players are just playing for their They're playing their hearts out. Nathan Tella is crushed because Victor Boniface is injured. Don't worry about it. Patrick Schick will show up.
And
Nathan Tella will show up.
Well, Patrick Schick didn't even start. They had
but what I'm saying is that Bayer Leverkusen's the one with the depth because their players are showing up. Whereas Bayern München, their players are not showing up. I didn't know who Sasha Bowie was. Now I do. I know him as a pretty bad center back. That's how I know him as. He had a rough game. Obviously, it's just one game, but he was at fault for that first goal, and he screwed up he had a rough game. I remember the whole game. I'm like, this Sasha I had to be like, who's number 23?
He had a tough one.
And
Guerrero was starting on the bench. I thought he could have really helped them a little bit, getting some width into their game. It was an odd lineup. It was an odd an odd lineup right from the jump, and it never really turned. Like there was never. I thought, like, really at halftime, I thought, wow, Leverkusen totally dominant, but they're only one up and they're going to regret it. Like there's going to be some, you're going to see some resistance in the second half, but it never happened. And then they got that third where Manu. Just little aside here, by the way, what was you're up like
down by two because
you're down by two. There's like basically they never even restarted really after that third goal, right? So you're like 45 seconds, and Neuer is like out there like trying to hit flying headers.
That's total
in the opposition. In the opposition box, like
that's total posturing to the fans. It's like
you've lost
but logically it made no sense.
You've lost the game. It's not, and goal differential is real. It's like so. Anyway, not that that's a big deal, but that was a head scratcher too. It's like, it's very very performative.
But
for
this
the goal
game,
No, go ahead.
But this game, so that's why there's Tuchel Raus right in front of the Bayern München. I put the photo up on it. Someone put a huge Tuchel Raus sign on Sebenstrasse, the training camp or whatever. Tuchel is under a lot of pressure.
Who are they going to get next? They've hired everybody already. Who's it going to be if they let go?
There was a clip of a laughing Julian Nagelsmann. He was having a blast, right? And it's just he was under a lot of pressure. He was under a lot of pressure.
Nagelsmann's got a tough job too. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not doing any better. But there was a lot of pressure under Tuchel, and then he did all these terrible blunders. He totally failed. Like his tactical risks, which were unnecessary, failed miserably. So this is very much on Tuchel, right? It's also on the players, but Tuchel's in charge of the players. Something's going on.
Well, Thomas Müller. He had we're going to get to it.
Is it time? I was going to say
you have a clip because he specifically called out the players. He did not blame.
He also quoted someone. But first and foremost, this game was bigger than we thought it was going to be. I do believe this game is the game where Bayer Leverkusen is like, we are for real. This is happening. They exposed Bayern's frailties, and they showed.
I agree.
And
They
did
it on
Yeah.
short rest. They had a
Right.
cup game. The cup game also was amazing.
where
by
they
the
beat
way.
Stuttgart.
Where they
Right.
beat Stuttgart with the late
Right.
Jonathan Tah header.
Also,
I
a
mean,
great
it
game.
all feels like everything is coming up Bayer Leverkusen this year.
Right.
I mean, I mean, it's only 5 points, but looking at the schedule, they have, I think, most of the halfway decent teams they have at home. I mean, it's not, and it's not like Bayern is going to win every game from here on out. They have Champions League still, and so
they have Dortmund still. Dortmund.
they have a lot of. So I mean,
Bochum still.
the 5. Yeah, and that's tough. That's a tough place to go for anyone. Listen, don't make fun.
I wasn't. Bochum's the tie kings.
Bochum.
They got 0-0s, 1-1s all day.
Listen, Bochum. I watched. Well, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched the goal arena or whatever. Bochum. I'm the first to admit I was like pessimistic over the last 2+ seasons. I did not believe Bochum is a legit decent team this season.
They're staying.
It's like
staying in the Bundesliga.
They're staying up. We had 3 over the last 2 months. We had 3 games where we gave up stoppage time equalizers. If there was no stoppage time, we would be in 8th. I did the math. Bochum would be in 8th place if not for those. And
well, what they need stamina.
It's not even like no, but I'm saying like the last few years there was some luck. I feel like there was some games where it's like, oh, we didn't really deserve it, but scored like a weird. This year, I feel like we're in this position and even being a little unlucky. I think that is even better than the team is actually better than the spot in the table suggests. So let's go Bochum. But
you need Jürgen Klinsmann ripping the phone book.
Nobody needs Klinsmann.
You need the guy. What's his? You need the fitness guys to help your stamina. So
South Korea lost to Iran, yeah, or
Qatar,
Jordan.
Eventual final of Jordan, but that's a whole other thing.
We'll the mighty Jordan. Anyway,
we're getting off track.
Still back to Leverkusen Bayern.
Bayern Leverkusen. So we said our piece. This became a bigger game than we realized. Bayern was in the path, but we need to hear from Thomas Müller because he had something to say.
Let's hear
it. We're going old school. Now, we're not allowed to show this in the United States, so I put a graphic over the interview. Hopefully, they don't strike us. It'll be good on the podcast either way, but for YouTube, sometimes we do this. They take it off YouTube. So wish us luck. So for the live viewers, you're going to watch it. Hopefully they don't give us a strike. All right. This is some passion. Boom. All right. I'll just play it a bit, and then Bjorn do the honors and translate this for our English speakers.
Sounds good.
Done, right? Okay.
Thomas Müller, normalerweise ist Bayern in der Lage, sich in großen Spielen zu steigern. Warum war das heute jetzt nicht zu sehen?
Warum? Es gibt natürlich einige Symptome, die man auch auf dem Platz sieht.
Hold on. We got a little echo. You got a little.
Can you hear? Hold on. Let me change this up a little bit. I'm confused as to why the audio is not coming out of the right place here. Hold on. The artisan thing. We got to fix our thing.
So the question to Thomas Müller was usually Bayern can extract themselves.
How's that? Is that better?
Thomas Müller, normalerweise ist Bayern in der Lage, sich in großen Spielen zu steigern. Warum war das heute jetzt nicht zu sehen?
So he's offering?
So the question is usually in big games Bayern is able to improve and live up to the big games usually. Why was that not possible today? And here's Thomas Müller.
Warum? Es gibt natürlich einige Symptome, die man auch auf dem Platz sieht und ich bin auch dementsprechend ehrlich gesagt angefressen. Man muss erstmal Bayern Leverkusen natürlich gratulieren.
There's some symptoms that you can see on the field. Why? He's going, why? Well, there's some symptoms you see on the field, and that's why I'm a little bit angefressen. He's a little ticked off, I guess.
Pissed off, right? Yeah.
Pissed off. He's He's and first of all, respect and congratulations to Bayer Leverkusen. Great performance. Totally deserved victory. We don't have to argue about that. What symptoms did you talk about? Asks the reporter.
Und deswegen sage ich es auch öffentlich. Was mir fehlt, ist diese von uns Spielern, dass wir im Training zeigen wir deutlich bessere Ansätze, weil wir da mutig sind, weil wir frei Fußball spielen. Und da fehlen mir, jetzt können wir unseren Oliver Kahn zitieren, teilweise die Eier und diese Freiheit. Wir haben eine Verkopftheit in unserem Spiel, vor allem mit Ball. Wenn du Leverkusen siehst, da ist doch nicht jeder Schachzug geplant. Wenn der Grimaldo rechts außen auftaucht, obwohl er Linksverteidiger ist. Die zocken einfach, die spielen Fußball, die suchen Lösungen. Da bietet sich einer, wenn er merkt, oh, der Raum ist zu, dann zieht er sich 2 Meter auf.
So, okay. So he's saying that in practice they play more brave and they try things out. But in games there is a hesitancy, and he's quoting Oliver Kahn, who I guess was saying, I hadn't heard this previously, but Oliver Kahn has said they're lacking balls.
Right.
They are lacking the intestinal or testicular fortitude, or whatever you want to call it.
Aya literally tries to
show. Aya, the eggs, the balls, the stones. They're lacking the stones that they have in practice, and he's comparing them unfavorably with Leverkusen. He said when you look at the Leverkusen side, not every move is choreographed, not every chess move is planned out. Grimaldo, the left back, sometimes shows up on the right, and
suck.
So they're looking for solutions, and they're looking for space, and they're zocken. Zocken is like
quick decisions, right?
Well, zocken is like playing, but like gambling in a sense. Like, you're trying something and you're impulsive, and it's not. And he feels like during games the Bayern side is playing from their heads. They're like very much in their heads, thinking about it, versus instead of just reacting and just playing free like they do in practice.
Das machen wir auch. Aber nicht in dem Spiel, wenn der Druck da ist. Und das erwarte ich von unserer Mannschaft und von dem FC Bayern immer, dass wir Spieler, die auf dem Platz stehen, man darf den Druck spüren, aber das muss einem Energie geben. Und nicht, dass wir 10 Minuten haben wir ganz gut angefangen und dann bringen wir und verstehen auch nicht, dass wenn es mal zäh ist und es vielleicht ein Abwartespiel ist, bring den Ball öfter in die gegnerische Hälfte. Spiel mal einen langen Ball von mir aus hier hinten einfach ins Aus. Dann gibt es einen Einwurf, können wir zustellen. Können wir den Druck in der gegnerischen Hälfte haben. Da spielen wir von A nach B, von B nach C. Und keiner hat die Freiheit, dass er einfach zu zocken beginnt.
Warum gibt es diese Freiheit?
So, okay, yeah. So more of the same. He's saying that they're playing from A to B and from B to C. Sometimes he would wish that there would also be just a long ball to get some pressure into the opponent's half. He says that when you play for Bayern, there's always pressure, and right now the pressure kind of makes the team tentative in games compared to practice. But he says that can't be. Like with Bayern, when you play for Bayern, there's always pressure. You gotta turn that pressure into energy. It's got to give you energy, but that's not how it's been. There's a caution and a very kind of schematic way of building up play versus, and he would like to see more freedom and people just trying stuff.
Freiheit nicht. Hat das mit dem Trainer zu tun?
And now, of course, the reporters try to get him to
get into Tuchel
because
he was Thomas Tuchel.
Is this a problem of the coach? Is this why do you not have this freedom? Is this a problem with the coach?
Ist ja auch verkopft.
Nicht da irgendwie schießen.
Ich frage nur.
Ja, immer warum. Es gibt nicht immer warum. Ich versuche ja gerade zu erklären, was mir in unserem Spiel fehlt. Und wenn es im Training da ist und der Trainer diese Lückendinger anspricht, dann müssen wir auch mal die Spieler anpacken. Und heute waren wir nicht da. Wir haben 3-0 verloren. Es waren genügend Spieler auf dem Platz von internationalem Format. Und deswegen brauchst du gar nicht Richtung Trainer gehen.
So Müller rejects it. Thomas rejects this. He's like, "Oh, you want to take shots at you want me to take shots at the coach? That's not it. You know, we're doing it in practice. We when there's mistakes in practice, the coach calls it out. We had a lot of players of international caliber on the field, and it's not the coach. It's like you gotta look at the players."
Welche Rolle hat denn der taktische Ansatz gespielt, der anders war als sonst?
And now he's asking about the tactical approach or the formation that was different than it has been. Did that have something to do with it?
Auch personell auf dich verzichtet, auf Kimmich verzichtet und so weiter.
And then also personnel.
Ich verzichte, ist jetzt kein neuer personeller taktischer Ansatz. Wir haben sehr viele Spieler fit.
Aber Dreierkette bzw. Fünferkette ist neu.
Ja, genau.
So he's saying you were on the bench, Kimmich was on the bench, and Muller's like, oh, that's no new thing. It's been like that. But then the reporter says, well, what about 3 in the back versus 4 in the back?
Yeah, there's 5 in the back, right? Yeah,
5.
Genau.
Yeah.
Aber der Ansatz, dieses Leverkusener System zu spiegeln und aggressiver zu sein und so, hat man in den ersten 10 Minuten gesehen, hat ganz gut funktioniert. Wovon ich spreche, sind Entscheidungen, vor allem mit Ball. Und da hat der taktische Ansatz nichts damit zu tun. Das hat auch mit einer gewissen Spielerintelligenz zu tun, mit einer gewissen Selbstständigkeit auf dem Platz, Entscheidungen zu treffen, welche Laufwege mache ich. Und in der Defensive hat es, wenn dann da was damit zu tun, wie aggressiv gehe ich raus, erkenne ich Situationen. Und da müssen wir uns dringend steigern und das werden wir auch tun.
Dankeschön.
Yeah, so...
sorry.
No worries. So he's saying this is not about the formation. I think he says that the initial setup of mirroring Leverkusen's formation he felt like worked pretty well in the first 10 minutes, but he says it's not about that. It's not about formation. It's not about tactics. It's about the individuals, the players' decision making, the individuals deciding where to go, where to run, how to space out, how to approach the game, and that's where the problem lies. Is it's not formation or tactics; it's the individual decision making.
So Thomas Müller is clearly frustrated his teammates. Pretty much, it's like it was the big game, the big show, and they did not show up. They just wimped out for 90 minutes, played ball in their head, where he was looking at Bayer Leverkusen, they were moving the ball so freely and confidently, and making those risks of like, should we do this? Should we do that? Where he feels they're playing in their head, but he refuses to blame Tuchel like everyone wants to blame. And he's throwing shade at, I think, his teammates. Granted, he's just obviously frustrated in the moment. But yeah, I love it. You don't really see passion from Thomas Müller like that a lot.
You don't? Okay.
I mean, am I wrong? He's usually a happy-go-lucky dude. I don't know.
He'll talk. I mean, he's they don't call him Radio Müller for nothing.
That's true, but that's more for his teammates. I don't know. I've never seen him go to the press like this, or I can't think in recent memory even go to the press like this. But either way, I think it summed up how they felt. Bayern Munich had the big game. They were down 2 points. That was for them to lead and win a title this year, and they fumbled, to borrow a Super Bowl word, an American football word. And now they're off 5 points. And I'll tell you, this could be the first season that Bayern Munich doesn't have any titles.
This could be the year, but we thought that last year, and we won't believe it I won't believe it until it happens. But this was a big one for sure.
It's a big one. I mean, are they going to win the Champions League this year? I just don't think they have it. I don't know.
Well, they've done extremely well in the Champions League.
Yeah, they got Lazio on Wednesday. I'm sure they'll do okay with them.
Tati Castellanos against Bayern.
The great Tati.
Let's go.
So there you have it. That was the big Spitzenspiel this weekend, and that was Thomas Müller's thought.
It was pretty great. It was very good.
It's nice, get some variety. And Bayer Leverkusen are playing great, great soccer. Now, this leads to another topic. Is this my negativity speaking, Bjorn? I feel that probably. I've been talking about how Xabi Alonso is going to Liverpool or Real Madrid this summer. But a Sky Sports fancy schmancy boy said that Xabi Alonso is not going anywhere until the end of next season. He feels that Xabi Alonso is definitely going to be the Bayer Leverkusen coach next season.
Who is this saying this?
I don't. Some Sky Sports analyst. I don't know. I was watching some Sky Sports today. He's a German dude, but it was for British TV.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Xabi Alonso will stay here in 2025, but perhaps then he'll leave. Like, he was offering that like a fact. And I was like, maybe I'm being too, pessimistic and thinking that he's leaving this summer? I mean, am I being too pessimistic?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he has a contract, presumably. I don't think
but they could just.
But I mean, that could be worked out. I mean, it's really, what does he want to do? He's still a very young coach. I mean, I think he should. I mean, if I would advise him, I would say, yeah, give it another year. You know, you also don't. It's the hottest thing right now, of course. And,
I mean,
but
if
then
he has it right now, he's going to Liverpool this summer, right? There's gonna be a big fee. Liverpool will pay Bayer Leverkusen for him, and he'll be the club placement.
And I'm sure that could happen if he wants that to happen. But I would we talked about it last week. I would advise a little caution and let him follow his. He seems like he's a smart guy, and he was very deliberate about his career steps, and I think he should stay that way and probably stay another year and then see what happens. I mean, those are also, like these are not long leash jobs. You can also really derail your career if you jump into a job like that too early. So, but I mean, of course, those are big, obviously that's big money, big it could turn his head. I don't know. I have no idea. I won't pretend to have any knowledge one way or another.
Yeah. So Xabi Alonso watch, Bayer Leverkusen watch is heating up. It's getting real. Not only are they going to win the league, but it looks like they're going to win the cup too. So it might be.
Yeah, they have a pretty good. Yes, Mönchengladbach and a bunch of second division teams. So yeah.
Are they still in the Europa League? Because maybe there's a treble in their mid. I know I had to throw too much pressure on them.
I don't think they were. Were they in the?
Or were they in the Conference League? Maybe maybe they're not in Europe this year, which is going to help.
I didn't think.
Yeah, I don't see them in the Europa League,
which is, I think, why they really now are in a good spot, because they don't have the same fixture congestion that Bayern has. I mean, who knows if Bayern gets knocked out of the Europa League by two Tati Castellanos hat tricks, then obviously.
Yeah, I don't see them. I'm in the Conference League. I don't think they're in Europe at all this year.
No, they're not. They're not.
So yeah, but they're still on the rail, on the track for a domestic double. So as the top, we got Bayer Leverkusen with 5 points, Bayern München second place, and there's a 10-point gap to Stuttgart in third, right? Or is it Dortmund? Somewhere in there, the Stuttgart and then Dortmund, Leipzig crew. And then there's the middle, and then there's a little bit of a gap for the relegation zone. There's a 5-point on the bottom of the table. It's not super exciting because there's 3 distinct teams on the bottom. Then there's a gap, and then there's Union Berlin and Bochum and things like that. But Bochum have themselves a cushion, right?
And should have more.
Let me take a look. How big is this cushion? It is significant. Yeah, Union Berlin is 15th with 21 points, and Köln is 16th with 16 points. So there's a 5-point cushion down there too. So Mainz just fired their coach today, I think, or yesterday. So Mainz is doing the old coach deal.
By the way, I'm sorry. We just to correct. Leverkusen are in the Europa League still. There's just not less. Yeah, they won their group. Actually, won all their games. So they. But the Europa League this year has this in between round where.
So they're not in until March.
So it's not. They're not going to play. We're not going to even know who they're going to play until the end of February. But they will play Europa League.
So they're up for a treble. Treble still.
True.
Dare I say it? But so on the bottom of the table, Mainz switched up their coaches. Darmstadt's looking to be the wooden spoon of the year. Union Berlin seemed to be doing okay. Like they're not in danger of relegation at the moment. At least they're close to it, but not.
Well, they got a big
close
win. Got a big win against Wolfsburg, so that gives them a little bit of room.
That gives them a little bit. And Bochum has been tying up a storm. But Jan Siewert, who replaced
this
Stefan
was
Baumgart,
a good one. This was a good one. This tie in Frankfurt. They had some. I mean, they also could have easily lost it. I'm not going to say that, but they had some chances late. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Just Jan Siewert was fired, and he was the replacement for Stefan Baumgart, right? And he was fired. And you know who else was fired? The HSV coach was fired over the weekend.
Oh, and the what? I thought they were doing. Were they not? Huh.
That was very interesting to me. That's why I brought it up. Because the top 3 teams in second division are where I'm from, the northern clubs. It's St. Pauli first. It was Hamburg second and Holstein Kiel third. But I think they flipped. And
Hamburg lost to Hanover at home, and that was enough to get the coach fired.
Fired because they lost at home the week prior.
Wow.
And essentially, Hamburg has seen this happen 6 seasons in a row. And I think they're like, we're not going to have it happen again. Now, granted, they can be shooting themselves in the foot. So the minute they had 2 or 3 losses in a row, and they're now third, they're slipping. They're like, they made a choice. They made a decision right away. So they fired Tim Walter, the coach, who was leading them to the top, and they are linked with Stefan Baumgart, the old Mainz coach. So as the carousel continued. But I just thought that was an interesting tidbit because when I read that, I'm like, you fired their coach. He's the second place in the league. And they fired him the minute they started losing 2 or 3 games, he got fired. I mean, Hamburg is doing whatever it takes to not miss promotion again. So they're up for a little bit of a change. We'll see how that affects Hamburg positively or negatively. So that's just an interesting little tidbit. St. Pauli is leading handsomely. I think they're top of the second division by 5 points.
A couple. Well, they have 5-point cushion towards third. Yeah, so they could.
Towards third. Yeah. So good
they're looking good. St. Pauli in the Bundesliga, maybe. I mean, still a long way to go. This is all little. 5 points is not a whole lot. I mean, same for Leverkusen, but it's just this was a big weekend.
Yeah. So we got big happenings with Hamburg down in the second division. Will St. Pauli and Holstein Kiel finally make it up? 2 small clubs.
We've got we've got Champions League. The Champions League is again like alternates weeks, right? With this, so there's only 4. We only have 1. Well, Leipzig is at home against Real Madrid tomorrow, and then Bayern at Lazio on Wednesday.
Yeah, we have tomorrow. Yeah, and then
we have
RB Leipzig is tomorrow. Bayern's on Wednesday,
and Copenhagen against Man City. PSG against San Sebastian, and then in next week the other 4 games.
Yeah, Dortmund's not till next week.
That's right.
PSV versus Dortmund.
Toni Kroos is not going back to Bayern.
Right, but will Toni Kroos go back to the German national team, you think?
What? Is that in the...
Yep.
That's been talked about?
He's been talking about pulling out of retirement, helping the national team again. I mean, if it's a positive effect, I'm all for it. I mean, if he can add some more firepower in the midfield, why not?
No.
No, you're not into it?
No.
All right. Why? Just he's too old?
It's just, I don't think it's not what they need. They need, they need to, the younger guys have to find a way. This is not the answer is not to bring all the, have like run out the lineup that won 2014 again. That's not gonna do it.
Also, Toni Kroos is busy podcasting. Him and his brother have a podcast, Einfach mal Luppen, with Tony and Felix Kroos.
Einfach mal Luppen.
So
well, he's good for him. I don't think he'll. You want to talk a little MLS for 1 minute? Like Emil Forsberg is looking like he's gonna set the league on fire.
Well, you know what blows me away? The play-by-play commentator of the game didn't know who he was.
Oh.
And he kept calling him Emil Forsberg.
Bay?
Now, how stupid do you have to be? Okay, so even if you're just a regular human being with a public school education, all right, he's Swedish. His last name is spelled Forsberg. How do the Swedes pronounce Berg? B-E-R-G.
Berg.
Yeah, Berg or Berg, right? So if you see a Swedish dude named Emil Forsberg, why would his name be Emil Forsberg? He kept calling him Forsberg.
This is the Coachella guy.
This was the guy who did play-by-play on the YouTube stream.
You're gonna drag the fucking like.
No, but come on,
just
Bjorn.
be grateful. Be grateful for the preseason stream, man. Any commentary is bonus. You're gonna drag him for like he doesn't know like your dude's name.
It makes me mad because I understand it's not an A+ commenters, got whoever. Whatever.
He gets a ham sandwich and a couple drink tickets to do this.
But even that, man, where did Forsberg come from? So you don't even know who the hot new signing is. I'll give you a pass. But why do you not know how to pronounce a Swedish guy's name? I don't get that. I don't give a pass. I just don't get it.
This is like if you want to drag the Premier League commentary, I'm with you all the way. This poor guy, like he does this out of the goodness of his heart, and like
Emil Forsberg
doesn't say
I've had enough.
There's like 28 teams. There's 8 games every day. He's he needs to like
Wikipedia's free, Bjorn.
He needs to call like Emil's grandmother to ascertain.
He doesn't need to call anybody. It's a Swedish guy. His name is Berg. B-E-R-G.
Get off the man's back. Is what I say.
Fine. I know. What's his face?
Preseason.
Tommy Scoops was like, I can't believe this, but due to reports, Toronto won 4-3. I can't believe I wouldn't know the score otherwise. Update on that, by the way. I think I'm going to go to Coachella next week.
Very nice.
Watch some of these games live, stream or no stream.
It looks great. I try to manage myself and not get, because I have a history of like getting way too into preseason games and having all kinds of opinions based on I got bad info. I tried for once to engage on Twitter, which I never do because we got Hannes Wolf from Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Right.
So I asked my brother, for a scouting report, and he said, yeah, talented, but some issues. He's a 6 or an 8. It was completely wrong. My brother, I guess the guy hasn't played much, but anyway, he's a winger. Turns out he's a winger. He's not a 6 or an 8. He's going to play on the right wing, and
he's 36, so hopefully coming off the bench.
He's 36?
Yeah, right. How old is he? He's old, right?
What?
I think he's 36, right?
You're thinking about Maxi Morales?
No, hold on.
Max Kruse? You think Max Kruse?
Born in 99.
That makes him 25.
Oh, it totally makes it. He's 24.
Yeah, he's not.
Never mind, my friend.
No. He's in his prime, and if we can keep him engaged, because he looks a little. I guess he's been a little injured and a little flighty, perhaps in Germany. But if we can keep his attention, he looks good. He looks like he is a pressing. Again, it's preseason. I shouldn't even say these things.
No, but that's exciting. See, I thought for whatever reason, I thought he was like 30.
He is. I mean, he's a little frightening. They had these interviews. He's got that thick Austrian accent. He's never been in New York before prior to coming here. I'm like, that's a big move. But, and I was saying to a friend of mine, he is like, with his accent and the way he looks, he is like the second to last person to get killed in like a Die Hard movie.
We will dominate. We will dominate on the field.
He's got that vibe. So I was a little frightened, but he's looked like a very, very good. Not Emil Forsberg, quality.
He said Forsberg.
He's no Forsberg.
Not even Bear. I would have had Bear. I'd like better. He said Bay. Like ERG means A.
Because he's gonna be your Bay. He's gonna be your Bay.
He better be my Bay.
Yeah, he is gonna be your.
So anyway, in Red Bull's
for the NYCFC games, they had Glenn Crooks on commentary with the other guy who's very competent. I had no complaints. Anyway, it looks nice. I'm glad you're going. It looks like a cool thing. There's like 87 games every day. You can more soccer than you know what to do with.
I had to leave early last time because it was too much. I was like watching soccer 6 hours straight. And I was like, this is too much.
Preseason overload.
The big
we
thing
only
with
have,
Red
and it
Bulls-
goes on for weeks. I guess there's a whole other set of
Yeah.
teams coming.
Next
NYC
week is
season
the
almost
last
done.
week.
We only have one more game, then we leave, and a whole other set of teams come.
The women's teams, yeah. For the men's teams, it ends on Saturday.
Oh,
And after
interesting.
That,
Okay.
It's just minor league teams and women's teams, I think. But no, the big thing with the Red Bulls, and I talked about this last week, is that this whole thing be like, we're investing. And so far, it's led to one. It's just ML4 Spay. He's the only guy. Our lineup looks identical.
He looks like he's going to be good, though.
Yeah, he is going to be good. But our lineup is going to be identical to last year, except replace Luquinhas with ML4 Spay. And then there you go. That's all they did. And it's like, really? Is this the big – compared to any other team, we actually had a pretty slow offseason. We had 3 players leave and 2 players come in. And then one of the 2 players won some Youth Improved International. Those we have a dime a dozen. They never work out. And we had ML4 Spay, which was fun.
They never work out.
Yeah.
Tyler Adams is going to call in.
No. I'm talking – no, not our homegrowns work out, but our Scandinavian Youth International imports never work out. We have those in spades. I can give you a long list of people you've never heard of. Frederick Goldbrunson, we paid $2 million for him. I think he's retired now or something. So Noah Ellie, I forgot his last. Noah Ellie, Noah Wiley, Noah something or others brought in.
Noah Wiley?
Not Noah Wiley, but Noah Ellie or something. He's a Swedish Youth International, one of a billion that he's going to come in. Maybe he'll be good. We need a center back. But anyway, all I know is that you look at any club, NYCFC, DC United, Chicago is finalizing Kellen Acosta. And it's like, we could use Kellen Acosta. We'll take Kellen Acosta, and then Colorado's signing up a Storm. Just the offseason's busy for everyone. The New York Red Bulls, they promised us to be busy for us, and it's looking very unbusy. The only thing we have going for us is will Dante Van Zier and Lewis Morgan be available and healthy this year? Because last year Lewis Morgan was unavailable most of the season, and Dante Van Zier was unavailable about half the season. What we saw in preseason was we saw Emil Forsberg and Dante Van Zier link up on an equalizer against St. Louis SC, and it's like, yes, Dante, Emil, become friends, know each other,
be bae.
Be bays to each other. What language is BERG bay? In any language, Bjorn. I mean, come on. Oh, who we got here? Emil Forsberg? Who's another famous Swedish person?
Abba.
I'll be like, oh, look, it's Chabet. Chabet's coming in. Chabet? Oh, yeah. ABBA in Swedish is pronounced Chabet.
You're talking yourself into something.
According to this commentator, that's how he would pronounce it.
Poor guy.
I just couldn't handle it with you. It's just like, who the hell is Forsberg? It was just my logic could handle it. It's
just turn the sound off.
Guy.
If the Coachella commentator doing 8 games a day is going to upset you, you should just turn the sound off.
Why is it a guy who doesn't know who the MLS players are? I mean, come on. Give me the gig, man. Throw it to a Schnitzel boy. Okay, sorry. We're going a little long. I'm just saying, I'm all about the New York Red Bulls, but there are, I want more signings. Where's our Huntsville?
Yep.
Where's our Huntsville? Huntsville's right there. Where's our Kellen Acosta?
We have not really discussed this. Hannes Wolf. I mean, this is, obviously there's only one F in the player Wolf versus the listener Wolf has 2. Like, what I want to hear from Hunt. Are you going to get the jersey? What's the story?
Yeah, that'd be a perfect jersey for you, Hans Wolf. So Bjorn, it sounds like you're really into it and you're excited about what's happening with you.
You never know. Obviously we signed these people and we've never, I think we still probably need a left back, but other than that, and we still haven't, the 18-year-old Serbian Wunder striker is still not official. So hopefully that's happening. But I feel pretty good. I feel like our team has improved. We have a pretty full squad now in preseason. That was not the case last year. Signings came very, very late. I mean, really midway through the season or 2/3 through the season is when we really got the important reinforcements. And now Maxi Morales looks like he's coming back. So great. Yeah, I feel pretty good. But hope springs eternal in the preseason, and then we'll see when the rubber meets the road. But
so next week is our last episode before the season begins.
It's gonna happen.
The league opens on a Wednesday.
It's in a couple weeks, yeah. So Hans Wolf says he's not going to get the jersey unless he adds an orange extra F. That'd be pretty awesome. So you can do
that.
You have it both. You could have the double Wolf. That's pretty cool.
The Hannes Wolf in sheep's clothing, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, obviously the guy's just coming off the plane. He has to prove himself to us. We're not going to just get all bent out of shape after like a 60 minutes worth of preseason. But the social medias keep joking how he finally made the squad. Yeah, after all those years, Hans, finally you're on the team. that's when I was joking in the old days when Tommy McNamara first started playing. I was thinking that somebody from the third rail had won a contest because he did not look like a pro soccer player, but turned out he was great. Legend.
Speaking of, talk about movies again. I watched Next Goal Wins the other day. Did we talk about this last week?
Oh, the Thomas Rongen thing?
Thomas Rongen movie about the American Samoa.
Is that worth watching?
The real story is a beautiful story, but I will say, maybe because I'm too much of a nerd and too close to it, I would say they didn't do the story justice. There's some funny moments, but the reason I bring it up is because half the American Samoa team were like dudes in their mid-40s. It's just like, that was because it's a small island nation. And they were the last ranked nation in the world. And they lost by the biggest margin in professional soccer history. They lost 33-0 against Australia. I remember that game. But it's a really good story in real life. And I felt the movie might have had problems or something. I feel they didn't capture it all. And I thought Michael Fassbender was a really bad Thomas Rongen.
Oh, interesting.
Because we know Thomas Rongen, he's quite the character, and I feel Michael Fassbender didn't do a lot of research. Maybe
should have just let him play himself.
I think so. And it's a lot of Kiwis in there, some great Kiwi humor. It's a fun movie, but I felt the story a lot more potential than it did.
Okay,
so
I forgot. I kind of forgot that sort of came and went. I guess it was not very. Because that was on my radar, and then I forgot about it. But yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, it's a fun thing, but it's a little like they could have done better with it.
All right. Well, we're over an hour. Let's call this.
Tschüss, bis nächste Woche.
Hans Wolf, welcome back. Very nice chatting with you.
Absolutely.
I still have that shirt for you, that Schnitzel Boys shirt. Season opener, maybe.
I was going to say, there's a few out there. But we have merch if people want to buy stuff. I have a TikTok account that I'm trying to put some up every day. If you want a little extra Schnitzel Boys content, I'll be doing it. It's Stefan the Soccer Guy on TikTok. Thought I'd give that a plug. We're on Podcast World. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Get people involved. And we look forward to MLS starting not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. That creeped up all this stuff, didn't it? Tschüss. Bis nächste Woche.
Tschüss. Macht's gut.